Are you paying attention, everybody? This podcast was created to proliferate common sense takes regarding politics, religion, healthcare, current events, conspiracies, and whatever other topics you've been told to never mention at the dinner table. The purpose? To enlighten our fellow citizens of the propaganda being pushed in this polarizing time period in the never-ending battle for your soul. This podcast is not aligned with any sect, denomination, politics, organizations, or institution. We do wish to engage in every controversy under the sun without endorsements or oppositions to any causes. We are the four discoursemen: TJ, Greg Hugh, Pastor Benny, and me. Artie, the one-man party. Thanks for your time, energy, and of course, attention.
Would you come back around?
Okay, everybody, November 6th, 2025, day 37 of the shutdown, longest in American history. After our latest election on Tuesday, we got a commie in New York as mayor. They elected an attorney general in Virginia, fomenting violence, not only on political opponents, but their children. Big stakes. But before I enter the arena, one of us is celebrating a birthday today. TJ, happy birthday. The pain in my ass. Means a lot to me, baby. You showing up.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, everybody.
Do you want to share your age or anything?
Yeah, I'm 38.
Okay, well, you know what, man? It means a lot having you here. I hope you have the best day ever. Of course, when you get out of here,
And my present, I get to hear your bullshit.
well, that's what I was going to say. Once you get out of here, I hope you have the best day ever. Of course, admitting first, I'm right about everything, and you're wrong, or been wrong about everything. So I'll make my monologue pithy, and then you can go on and shit on everything I said. Deal? Would that be a good birthday present?
Sure.
All right, great. So I'm super grateful as well for the other fellow discoursemen saddling up today, answering the bell to discuss the sad state of affairs with this huge divide in our government. End the filibuster. That's what I like to start off with. Of course, on early Tuesday morning on the election, POTUS comes out, nuclear tweet, says rallying the troops in the Senate to end it. In my opinion, this is way more than just a procedural debate. Of course, I think it's huge. So let me break that down, chop it up from my warped mind, and then throw it out to my fellow compadres. The first time this nuclear option came to my attention, was when the Democrats were actually looking to do this a couple of years ago under Biden. They were threatening to pack the Supreme Court and stuff. I think it was Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar, the who's who of the group were all on TV about to end it. Even Elizabeth Warren, she was like, we can't have the minority governing the majority. Oh, no. Now, they tried it. It failed, I think, by 2 votes. I think that Manchin guy and someone else. So it appears to me this is on thin ice already. And I'll admit, when the Democrats tried to end it, I was like vehemently opposed to it. Even initially when I saw Trump advocating for it or terminating it, that was lukewarm at best. And maybe probably even opposing it. I was like, no, you can't do that. 2 wrongs don't make a right. It's the Constitution. That's untouchable. But being a Trump loyalist, I say he's Michael Jordan, all this, I had to give him the benefit of the doubt. So I decided to pay extra attention. And after much deliberation, and I believe it was like a founding father, Thomas Paine, the legendary Thomas Paine, once said, these are the times that try men's souls. And after some soul searching myself, the more I think about it, the more I'm for it. I believe this could be John Thune and companies crossing the Delaware moment, meaning at a time when the Senate, with no term limits, has become a corporate puppet show run by the handlers, Trump, putting their feet to the fire to end this, their most lucrative power. I see it as a declaration of war against the deep state and a preemptive strike against Schiff, Schumer, and the rest of these demon rats. End the filibuster yesterday, and let's save democracy. So let's go to the birthday boy. Thanks again for making the time on this historic day. Super grateful.
No, of course. Grateful to be here.
Yeah, you're the man, bro. Again, you might
Yeah.
get on my nerves, but you know what? Look, when I saw it was your birthday, I knew you were making time out of your schedule quickly to talk. And, I was like, wow, kudos to you, buddy. Now, what do
Thank
you
you.
have to say
I mean,
about
I'm not 8 years old anymore, so it's not a huge deal.
so
Still
no
gotta
more
work.
flowers here. What do you think of this filibuster? You have any thoughts, buddy?
I mean, I always just thought it was a waste of time and resources, the filibuster. I can see how it kind of keeps from a majority of the government from making all the decisions. I think that's what the people decided, And I mean, if you have issues with the majority ruling, then maybe give less power to the federal government to begin with. So, I mean, I guess I would be for ending the filibuster.
Oh, wow. I mean, I saw Rand Paul say he's totally can't do it. So I figured you were totally going to be on that camp.
I'm my own person.
What about you, Greg Hugh or Pastor Benny? Anybody else want to piggyback on that? Well, wait. First off, because do you think it's a big thing, this filibuster? You think it's just like not much there? Is this just grandstanding, or am I taking this too big? But I think this is crossing it. I think this is huge.
I think it's great ending, honestly.
Okay.
It's giving it's pretty much allowing, I mean, the filibuster just allows people to obstruct things from getting done. It's like it's the minority party's tool to make the majority's life miserable because they're petty. That's what it comes across as.
And that's what they're doing now with the shutdown.
I would just say I don't disagree with TJ, but to Rand Paul's point, it's something that slows down the growth of government. It's something that slows down legislation. All legislation, by nature of itself, is growing government. So this is at least a tool to slow it down. And theoretically, historically, the Senate was where these things were supposed to slow down and be thought of. I think George Washington called it the cooling saucer. That was the Senate, and it tempers the passions of the House. And this is one of those ways that you can kind of slow things down. I mean, I think I can understand why, especially Republicans right now, think this is a good idea. But it's not going to be a good idea when the pendulum swings back and the Democrats have majorities all over the place. I mean, it's very dangerous, I think. And I think there's a lot of functionality to the filibuster today.
Pastor Benny?
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know how the parties will talk to their citizens and say, "Oh, we did it for you." I don't know who they're doing this for. I don't know how they've justified these delays and people not getting paid. I don't know. Can they sacrifice it? The game is just lie as long as you can, but it's going to catch up. So people are suffering unnecessarily. There's no need for this. And to gain what? If there is endpoint, we will do this when they agree to this. There's no such thing. I don't know. There's holding everybody hostage.
So the filibuster, they want to use that as an option to end the shutdown. So you think they should end the filibuster, the slowdown?
Yeah. They
Okay.
shut down.
Okay. Because here's what I see, because I thought there'd be much more fight against it. It's not in the Constitution, first off, the filibuster. It was added, I think it was an off comment by Aaron Burr, I think, or something. I looked into it a little bit. But I see it as this. If you end the filibuster and then you push all of the Republican policies, the ones Trump referenced in this tweet, voter ID across the country, get that done. Protect all the Second Amendment rights, get that done. Get all the women and stuff or the trans out of sports. Because once you do the filibuster, you then have to obviously push your agenda through. Basically, from what I understand it as, this is like a cheat code to get all your stuff done. So with that being said, just don't end the filibuster to get the government shut down. That to me is not it's not worth it. but with what Trump put in his tweet about pushing all of his stuff through, because obviously the only way this thing gets done is if Trump strong arms him and forces him. And as the longer the shutdown comes, the longer the pressure is going to be. Because if you know that the filibuster is going to end with like Greg Hughes said, if the Democrats are going to do it anyway later, then why not do it now? And then at least get voter ID throughout the country. Then, if they get back power, I at least believe that they have the power, meaning that they actually won the votes legitimately. I today do not believe that they're winning their elections legitimately. I think there's some type of rig going on there. And the only way I could feel in my heart that, okay, these guys are actually winning these elections, it's not some machine, shall we say, especially if the USA got eliminated, I would be then, more, okay, if you guys are actually the ruling majority, then fine, I'll take my medicine. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I actually agree. Obviously, one thing that's going to be annoying is these omnibus legislation packages are going to keep rolling in. I wish that it would be more like one issue legislation, like Thomas Massey has when he writes up his bills.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just going to be a lot of that. I mean, it's going to be more of the same, and hopefully, it's going to be whoever the majority is going to love it, and then the minority is going to hate it, just like everything else. So
yeah, but that's the culture right now, right? It's all or nothing for either side. And with this filibuster, they've only done it a couple times, and it's been very unique or very specific to what they've been done it for. They did it for, I think, Obama's guys weren't able to get into the nominations, so that they did it for that, and they did it for like two other times ever. So if they were going to do it, they'd have to do it specifically just to start the government, put voter ID in, put the transgender stuff in with the sports thing anyway. I'm not against transgenders, just the sports thing I'm not a fan of, and put in the gun rights and stuff. Whatever each Republican has big things, give them those little things, and then you go back to normal. That doesn't excite you, Greg?
I mean, I'm not sure you understand how the filibuster works, because it's not preventing any of these things from happening.
Yeah.
Right? The filibuster, the filibuster is used to delay a vote.
Yeah, they're ending it. That's the point. That's why when you said I don't see it's boring. No, this is, if you end the filibuster, then they could just pass anything.
But they aren't even queuing these things up for votes right now. Let's get them voted for. They're talking about end. But I mean, I feel like this is it can have some impact, but they are so behind on what legislation they should have been pushing at this point that we're talking about a small procedural thing. I just feel like there's such bigger things to talk about, and it's not the filibuster that's preventing all these things from being passed into law. Explain to me. Let's talk. Okay, go for it.
Right. So basically, the filibuster means it's in its basic terms is you can talk forever. Senators are allowed to talk forever. So they used to just say, all right, I'm going to filibuster, delay passing of the bill. So what happened was it used to be 2/3 of the Senate used to be able to cancel it out, right? So then it's called cloture, actually, cloture, whatever the term, I don't pronounce cloture, whatever. So then they went down to 60 votes. And now all a senator has to do is say, I'm going to filibuster. They don't have to actually sit there and speak. Like Rand Paul, I was reading, he went like 13 hours or something on John Brennan or something. It was one of the longest filibusters, your buddy there. I'll give him props. So they used to do that. And then they were like, you know what? Just like TJ says, I don't want to hear you talk forever. They were like, we don't need you to talk forever anymore. All you got to do is say you're going to filibuster, and it's 60 votes. That's the new deal. So if you have 60, if you can't get 60 votes on a proposal, you cannot pass it in the Senate, period. Anything. So if they go nuclear and they say 51, the Republicans could pass everything if they all stick together. Now, they don't want to do it right now because that's why senators have so much power in their branch, because they know that you can't get 60 votes on most things. If you're one of the senators who's going to dissent from, say, passing, I don't know, anything about vaccines or any of this stuff, they got you. All they need is a certain amount of people. And the whip guy, the minority whip has lots of power there with that, because of that filibuster, basically it would just make 51 votes or 50 votes because we have the vice president, and you could pass anything. Period. That's it. It's a cheat code.
So right now you need the majority of 60 votes to pass something.
Yes.
So when you think of a filibuster, you think of Rand Paul talking for 13 hours, right? So
No.
does that have
Yeah.
So explain to me what Rand Paul talking for 13 hours has to do with whether or not they had enough votes for something.
Because then the next he could go for 2 days, and then you can have another senator go another 20 hours, and then you can have another senator go another hours, and then Rand Paul could pass.
True.
Yeah.
You can only filibuster one.
No, it's unlimited. It's ever.
Tell me
They do it all the time. They just say, I'm going to filibuster.
Tell me an example.
We're getting lost in the weeds. I promise, TJ, will you tell them the filibuster is one of the major roadblocks in passing stuff?
Yeah, Mark Cory Booker did it for like 9 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, not
That was in the House.
1 to 4 hours. Something ridiculous.
Yes.
But what was he?
Who was he filibustering?
That he hates Trump, basically.
What did he prevent the vote from? What vote did he prevent?
It wasn't he's a but no, he did do it, but he is a House of Representatives. I assure you. Okay, I don't want to go into all the details. Like you said, we don't have a lot of time. I promise you, all you need then is 51 votes. The filibuster is, in theory, so you're looking at it like, I agree. Literally, how is it going to end? But that's what they do. They just have to say they're going to do it, and they can't vote. You need 60 votes because of the filibuster. They use it to say 60 votes. If you got rid of it, then it's 51. I know it doesn't make sense, the filibuster. That's my point, but that's what it is. I give you my word. If they eliminate it, 51 votes, that's it. Yeah, it makes no sense. You're trying to
In 1975, it went from 2/3 to 3/5.
Yeah.
That's cloture. The cloture.
That's what I just talked about, right? That's what I try to break it down. But you're getting stuck on the fact. How's that work? It does. Just I mean,
No, I'm getting stuck on if I type into Chat GPT, tell me when filibuster has changed the outcome of a vote.
it doesn't allow it. You can't vote. If you don't get 60 votes to end the filibuster, you can't even vote.
And Kakada is the 51.
Yes. And it's only been done like 3-4 times ever in history. So that's the big thing. Like, if you look at the big picture, if you end the filibuster, now you have full control of the Senate, the Republicans. They could do whatever they want. And if you look at Trump's tweet, the things he says, because if they do it, because they don't want to do it, then they're going to have to do what he said to do. They're going to have to put voter ID, and they're going to have to do this and this and that. And then, you know what? You have a superpower.
Yeah, that's what they're worried about.
Exactly. But trust me on this. It's a big roadblock. It's huge. Or should I say,
But once the voter ID is in,
refactor that in your thinking, Greg Hugh, and realize if you could do everything now with 51 votes, basically with your party, now is that appealing?
Again, you're confusing a few things here. This is about being able to discuss things or having things up for discussion. So if you have a majority in the Senate and you have a majority in the House, they need a majority so that you don't bring up bills, and they don't have that. You have the majority. There's, again, I don't understand. You're not helping me understand why none of the shit we should have been voting on before now has been brought up for a vote.
Because if you don't have 60 votes, you can't even bother. Just look at it as a roadblock. Okay, that's how I would just make it simple.
You can't even bring it up for discussion, you're saying? This is saying you need 60 votes to end the discussion. The Speaker of the House can bring up for discussion anything he fucking wants, can he? Let's talk about a national voter ID. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, brings up a bill. Someone did a bill for a national voter ID. Mike Johnson brings it up. The Senate discusses it and votes on it and passes it. How can someone use the filibuster to stop that from happening?
All they got to do is say, I'm going to filibuster it. Give me 60 votes, or it does not continue. That's it. Perfect example. If you want to bring up a vote, TJ, would you tell them, please?
The filibuster stops it from continuing.
Exactly. So that we want to end it.
But you need 60
my point.
votes to stop.
Not if they go nuclear. Not if they do what Trump says they're going to do 50 months.
In my example, Mike Johnson brings up a
That's
bill.
the House of Representatives. That's nothing to do with the Senate.
Okay, let's say the leader of the Senate brings up a bill that says national voter ID.
Right.
Says we're going to discuss it and vote on it. Okay, they have a discussion. What stops them from voting on that bill?
A senator just has to say, I'm going to filibuster it. I want you to guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you think he's going to
Hold on.
Okay.
No. This guy filibusters it, and what? He talks for 48 hours?
You need 60 votes. He can't. They don't even have to do it.
No. So you're saying what? You say the word filibuster, and all of a sudden you need 60 votes.
Yes, exactly.
That's how this works. This is like a ollie income free thing. You say the word and you say the word and it changes the rules.
Yes. Well, exactly. They just keep talking until time expires and the session's over. Like, say it's close to the end of session.
But that's exactly it. Yeah. You've been living in this country how long? And that's exactly how our government.
And then, they can just keep talking until it's like, time's up. We got to go home now.
Yeah. And then you do it again and again.
And the only way to stop them from talking is to get 60 votes.
Well, it used to be 66. So they made a deal. It's like, all right, you don't have to do 66 votes to end the actual talking. You don't have to do all the talking. All you got to do is get 60 and just say filibuster instead of actually doing it. And they just instead of wasting your time every day coming to hear these guys go on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
If that was the case, then why did Cory Booker just do that for fucking...
Cory Booker's in the U.S. House of Representatives. Again, Flatty, promise you that I'm telling you, that's what happens. I thought you knew that. That's why we saying, what's the big deal?
Type an onside kick at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Running out the clock.
It's like an onside kick at the end of the game.
That I understand at the end of the session, but let's say you're not at the end of the session. Let's say you're Mike Johnson and you want to pass voter ID. Why hasn't Mike Johnson at the beginning of the legislative session said, this is our priority voter ID. Let's vote on this. Let's talk about it.
Because all Rand Paul's got to do is say, DJ answered.
Yes, so question.
If they don't actually want these things done, they just need to show their constituent.
I mean, that's your opinion, but I'm talking about ending the filibuster and stuff. Now this is front stage. Mike Johnson's not in the U.S. House of Representatives. I don't want to muddy the waters. I just want you to believe, if they say, all Rand Paul's got to say is, I will filibuster. Think of it like a veto. Just like Trump can say, I'm going to veto the bill, and then you're like, all right, why even if you know the president's going to veto it? If a senator says, I'm going to filibuster it, that's like a veto. Okay? That's all you got to do. So they're going to Trump wants them to get rid of that power. Okay? Could we just make it simple and just go on with that? And then we can go on to other topics you want.
Sure, go for it.
Instead of trying to teach you, this is, I assure you, if he won votes and they could go line by line item, then they'll do that. They could do it. I mean, again, I understand you're skeptical, you guys, about the government and stuff, but this is a big thing if they actually got rid of the filibuster. Yes or no? Now that you know that all these things would go right through real quick. Do you have a different opinion on it now? Is it a big thing? Is it a crossing the Delaware moment?
No, because I still don't think you're explaining it correctly.
Also, you said it happened, 5 times in the Senate? So, I mean, it's not gonna... Yeah. So, I mean, it's it's just getting rid of an obscure rule.
No, I think you guys are missing. No, I think you don't see the whole thing. Okay, let me...
Look, here's a couple examples of when the filibuster had an impact. In 2017, Senate Democrats, Neil Gorsuch Supreme Court nomination, triggered the nuclear option, filibuster for Supreme Court nominee abolished. 2015, Rand Paul delayed the Patriot Act renewal, delayed it. 2013, Rand Paul, a 13-hour filibuster forced to be as clarification limiting domestic drone strikes. But again, none of these were filibusters to make a point and to delay something or to try to get something to change. This wasn't, are we going to talk about the Patriot Act? This is the Patriot Act renewal. This is the DOJ drone strike stuff.
They're trying to end filibuster. You're talking about using the filibuster. I'm talking about ending it. The Democrats already threatened to do it and almost did it a couple of years ago. Then they would have packed the courts. I don't think you realize the ramifications of ending it. The Democrats was in it. Okay, they were going to
Let's
put in
move on. Let's just move on.
different states,
Go on. Keep talking.
different stuff.
I think so.
So you're just learning about it, and you acting like an expert. I'm like, all right, we'll just move on.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a big topic, but what's next?
Well, I think I already just learned about a new personality that's been out for a while, but his name's Nick Fuentes. What have you learned about him?
Yeah, I just learned about him. He's that Tucker had on. I didn't watch it though. But yeah, I'll definitely love to do that stuff for you. And it's your birthday. If you want to build the case to me about him and stuff, I'll listen. I don't know if Greg knows about him or Pastor Benny and stuff. It's huge and going on right now on Twitter and stuff. This is a big story. Everyone's talking about. So that came to my attention.
I'm not going to make a case where I'm defending him. Well, eventually I will have to because of free speech. But yeah, we'll discuss it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to drop one shoe and not the other. So if you want to go in onto it.
I mean, only what I learned watching Tucker and Dave Smith interview him. That's about it. I'd never listened to him. I didn't know much about him. He's a lot younger than
Right.
Yeah, he's it's the his generation, or maybe young 30s.
26 years old.
Here's the thing. With anyone with a lot of tape, like I said with Charlie Kirk, people can turn your words into whatever you want. So he has a lot of tape out there. He's been deplatformed, I learned, and he is considered like Hitler. I don't know. They've killing. Look, anybody who gets that much attention, you got to respect. Everyone's talking about this guy. So I respect that in general. But I have to, again, before I start opening my mouth, I have to do a lot of research and put him into my little algorithm of how I live my life and then figure out where he fits. But yeah.
I started seeing clips and everything, and then I was like, I'm going to watch one of his podcasts just to, see what he actually is about.
Shapiro, see, the thing that got me was he had this guy Valhalla. I think I sent TJ the video. He says, Nick Fuentes crashed, he taps out Shapiro or something. So, yeah. And then Shapiro went on a 40-minute rant yesterday about him because him and Tucker. Apparently, I'm telling you, hey, look, we'll see what it is. But, yeah, that's something that's huge.
It reminds me
do
kind of like the replatforming of Alex Jones almost. It kind of has that kind of feel to it.
Oh, well, he's a Christian.
Listen, because Alex Jones was canceled for so long. And then all of a sudden we started seeing him again maybe last year.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got a lot of mojo behind him, so yeah. But what I can segue into is, because I know this was something that people want to talk about, the whole Mamdani thing now. Being a New Yorker and having a front row seat to this whole mayor election, I was very non-committal about it. I mean, like I said, I mentioned acceptance. It seemed like he was in a foregone conclusion that this guy was going to win the mayor, so I didn't really...
Yeah, like, we knew this for a month or more.
Cuomo's not my cup of tea. I like the Sliwa guy, but it's not realistic that the guy had any chance. But after his victory speech, I watched Mamdani, and I was like, wow, he was throwing shots at Trump. I was like shocked. His immigrant rant, I was very impressed by it. He went off immigrants and stuff, and he got a lot of energy. I don't like where his energy's focused, but big picture, I don't know if his fruit will multiply, but he's an impressive guy as far as what he's saying. Like, he's passionate about what he's doing. So yeah, if you guys want to talk, now I'm awake with the whole thing. He got elected now, and he was not gratuitous to Cuomo. He kind of took shots at Cuomo, which, okay, I don't mind people taking shots at Cuomo, whatever, but he took some shots. But I don't know. We'll see if he's got juice. But he seems very like an opposite, an anti-Trump, like a populist movement for his side. They were cheering everything he was saying. So hey. Let the games begin.
Yeah, but Cuomo's a really good punching bag. He has a lot of from already.
Greg Hugh, you had mentioned Mamdani. You have anything you want to go on about him? Are you still with?
I'm a big proponent of allowing the local people to pick their leaders. But, I mean, it's pretty terrifying as far as I can tell. I don't know that much about the guy, but what I do know scares me. I do see what's happening in Europe and the UK. And I wonder if we're starting to see dominoes fall here. I mean, remember, first it was London had a Muslim mayor, and now the top 10 cities in the UK have Muslim mayors. And I am all about freedom of religion, but we have to start wondering if we have a culture that we need to protect to some degree. If we don't start having that conversation soon, it's going to be a conversation that's too late.
Yeah, that's why Nick Fuentes will become important.
Well, yeah, I think this is what's driving people like Nick Fuentes when you don't have reasonable approaches to this very real problem, right? It's a real problem that is taboo to talk about, and this is why people like Nick Fuentes fester, because the people who would have reasonable approaches to this don't even have an opportunity to talk about it because they'd be shunned.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know about Fuentes. I don't want to go down that, but that's why definitely Mamdani's got his power from the other side, the have-nots that he tend, because it's easy to promise socialism to people. Hey, everybody gets everything, right? It's easy to sell. So those people,
It's only easy to sell to people are stupid. This is the problem. It's easy to sell if people are stupid.
Not stupid always.
Uninformed.
but look, you said it yourself, Greg Hugh, right? It's happening in England. It's happening here. It is growing.
Well, so look, so I just saw this poll today
Right.
that said like 60% of people below the age of 30 have a favorable view of socialism, and only 40% of people below the age of 30 have a favorable view of capitalism. And it's like, well, how is this possible? Well, it's because they went through our education system that's been run by people who haven't really been teaching good education for fucking 50 years at this point. And we've got the young generation don't even know why our country was successful to begin with. And it's crazy. This is one of the biggest challenge with illegal immigration. Is it used to be when you were an immigrant, you had to go through a process that partially included teaching you why America is special and the values of what is special about America. And that's why when my immigrant ancestors came, even though they were Italian and Sicilian and they wanted to maintain their ethnic identity to some extent, they wanted to become Americans and they wanted their kids to talk English, and they wanted to be part of the American dream. And that's not what's happening today with a lot of immigrants. And a matter of fact, it's not even what's happening with Americans, because we used to inculcate those values through the school system or through the church. And now the school system has been co-opted and it's led us to where we are today, I feel like. Sorry for the rant.
No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I agree. I couldn't say it better myself.
Yeah, I agree with that, with a lot of that. Yeah, you were talking about academia, where these people are, preaching. They don't really have any real world experience outside of the school. So they're living in this bubble, telling people how to live, and they're getting subsidies from the government because they don't understand how, starting a business is, or, taking care, budgeting appropriately, because they're living this academia world.
Yeah.
And the other point that with speaking Italian, that was very common because they wanted their kids to assimilate to America.
Yeah.
I was actually the first one to speak Italian since my great grandfather, because he wouldn't allow it in the house.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come and they want to bring their culture here and spread it. It's not trying to assimilate. But that's one of the issues I have with local government and stuff. I think we need to have also a look at the big picture. I think that it's spiritual warfare ultimately. I think all of this at the highest of level is a spiritual warfare. These guys are purposely putting this in. And calculate with that cool word you said, Greg Hugh, and all that stuff. They're doing it with that intention of trying to, as the great Charlie Kirk said, Muslim will be our downfall, I mentioned earlier. And then I think they just, after Mamdani won, that tweet came all over X again. What do you think of that, Pastor Ben? You see any correlations there in the spiritual realm?
100%, because all Mamdani is catering to is just one group of people. and people will take advantage of. There'll be just one group of people, and before you know it, there will be. You see, the Christians did not have problem when Jewish people were taking care of all these things. Like there was always there was certain sects, but now they're using their books, and now there's a huge population to take care of, and all these things will be catering towards one group of people, and then they will be impacted, and they will be getting the blessings from all these things. Mamdani is for only one group of people. Everybody else will be just they're all clapping, they're cheering him on, but they're not going to be the beneficiary from that. Only one group. So then people will tell them, they will find the difference. Oh, this is what is happening. It probably will take a year or two to find out how the New York will be totally different.
Yeah.
It is going to be sad. People will be realizing that the people are moving out of New York, 700,000 moving out. So you will see it will be a different city, different, everything will be.
Yeah, they're going to lose
Not-
main source of funding, which is the people that are going to be leaving.
No doubt, DJ. Look at it like this, real quick. TJ turns 38 today. He's got a business, got a family, this and that. This guy who won the mayor is 34 years old, never owned a business, never had a job. So that's my point. It's rigged. This guy he's a puppet. There is a bunch of money, and they've shown him pictures with Soros. A bunch of money pumping this guy up behind him. He's not. I mean, he's winning. I don't know if he's winning the crowd. Like I say, leader. He sounds good though. He's a better version maybe of AOC. Now he's the new anointed one. But like I said, it's the fruit.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I mean, like we talked, TJ, about the whole thing with the 20 billion, the million. You like let it just die or whatever. Don't give him the money. If that's the case, whether or not we need it, maybe we just gotta let the city die, right? Just let him do what he wants to do, or do we try to keep? I don't know. Bissent said I'm not going to bail them out, so I don't know what's next there. But do you think we should just let it destroy itself, or
Let's have it go through its 70s and 80s phase again and wait for Giuliani to come in and fix it again?
No, but here there are a lot of people propping this guy up because Qatar is right behind that. They're all funding him, so they won't let it fall down. But they will see all the beneficiaries of everything will be only one group of people, and that's what will be troubling. People who are not of that group, either you have to become part of that, or you have to take a hike. It will look very different. In a few years, you'll see now it's going to accelerate. Before it was just in words, but now it's going to change very fast.
And New York's pretty big with cycles. It's always going to be up and down. I feel like more than any other city, it's either really hot or really cold.
I don't know. This feels different. This man dying when I saw him talking, it feels different. This is a major different shift. I don't know if we've had that many admitted communists and stuff elected. Even the Democrats back in the day would kind of, that was taboo. The McCarthy era, whatever, when they would call you a commie just to get, now you get canceled out or whatever. Now back then the way to cancel you was to call you a commie, and now we have a commie literally running a city.
I mean, I think what's even as scary as him is just where the tentacles are going to lead. He's going to pull all his people and all people who think like him into the depths of the city administration. And we'll see, like Pastor Benny said, we'll see what it looks like in 2 years. It's going to take a little bit of time, right? Something as big and powerful as New York City doesn't fold overnight, but with a little bit of time, it's going to be pretty noticeable, I think.
Yeah, there'll be a honeymoon period, per se, no doubt. Yeah. But what's lost in the sauce here with me is the whole freedom of religion. I think someone mentioned that earlier. That's a Christian value. So people forget to realize that the Christians who started America or whatever, it's basically the Constitution mentions God. It's a Christian or Judeo-Christian philosophy. Muslims don't have that freedom of religion. It's different. So even though they're coming into me, I feel there's like a Trojan horse. They're using that freedom of religion, but once they get the power, there'll be no more freedom of religion. I think people fail to realize that.
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure freedom of religion is a Christian value as much as it's a Western value.
Just a synonym.
I think the difference is that there is no religion without the state. There's no difference between the religion and the state. And I think that's different in the West and different in Christian. You can break apart the state from religion in Western countries, but I don't think in most Muslim countries they're the same thing. You know what I mean? The ions are also the ones running the politics, you know?
Yeah, it's called a theocracy.
The freedom of religion is from the free will that's been given to people from the Bible and God. From God, God has given you free will. You can reject him, you can keep him. That's how this comes to freedom of religion. But now in all the oil-rich countries, they have positioned imams to control the people with a religion, so the rich people get to do whatever they want. Whoever is running the country, they can do whatever they want, but they installed imams to make sure everybody stays quiet. Nobody can rebel. Nobody can go against the religion. Whatever they say, that's what happened. You cannot drive. You cannot do this. You cannot eat this. That's just to control. Now, same thing will happen here. The same people who are on top of on different countries, they're going to put their money here. They're going to put their puppets here as control all of it. Same thing happens in Dearborn, Michigan. You can't do nothing there. It does not even look like America.
Right.
It will be very different. Nobody, like, you cannot even say no. Like, if somebody walks away from Islam, it's a problem. Now, right now, you're in America, you can walk away from Islam, but once it becomes a majority, nobody can walk away. If you're not in it, you pay an extra tax. They will make it difficult. They'll squeeze you out of this New York. Like my friends who were living in Dix Hills, a couple of mosques came around and people started walking around on those streets and it became totally different. And people freaked out and they just started selling their houses like hotcakes and they went south. And the same thing is
Let's not forget, I think this is important. There used to be a law, literally in the United States, where you couldn't have a Muslim politician. I forget the name of the act, but there was actually an act, and that got repealed. I think you guys are familiar with that?
No.
Yeah, there used to be a law in Congress, literally in the country, you cannot be a Muslim run for office. You're good at Google. Yeah, and then that was repealed or something, maybe 30, 40 years ago or something. And now again, I'm not against that, but I'm just saying there must have been something. I don't know all like what Pastor Benny, you guys about the whole, Muslim, so we say, way they run the countries and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of scary now when you think about it.
Aladdin is paying a huge price for that. And some of the Scandinavian countries, they're totally changed because of this migration. Oh, and then you go deeper to find out who is making this migration happen. It's UN behind. It's very much orchestrated by UN and all these people. It's not just like people randomly just coming from different countries and ending up in these Western countries. No, that's not what it is. It is very much orchestrated.
Well, I mean, where are they typically coming from? Middle East? They're coming from areas that are war torn.
No, there's no war right now in Pakistan. There's no war in Pakistan right now. What war is there in Algeria? No war in Algeria.
Yeah, I was asking like why are they coming here? Is what it was a question.
No, because it's because they want to destabilize all the Western population. So their goal is to take over all the Western civilization.
Yeah, and they're using under the DEI cloak, like diversity. And then only Western countries need to be diverse, right?
Yeah.
There's no diversity rules in Nigeria or anything or other parts, right? It's just America or the West, we'll say.
My parents lived in the Middle East. They lived in Africa, Northern Africa, and it was tough. You can't have a church. You can't have a church building. I don't know why America allows all these things. Like, just like tariffs, they should impose, like, if I cannot buy land in your country, you cannot buy land in my country. If I cannot have a church in your country, you cannot have your idol, or you cannot have your temple or whatever you want. So it has to be, you have to give us a chance. But America doesn't fight for those things. Right now, we're stuck with tariffs, but the same thing, it has to be in all aspects because Americans get gypped. They don't have all the say in that. They have one church in all these big countries. They'll have one church, And everybody has to come there. Why? Yeah.
Well, it's like all cultures. It's important that all cultures be represented and be praised, except for American culture. That's kind of shit.
And we're not perfect in any way. We obviously we have the right to complain about our country, and we've done some things, especially foreign wise, we're not proud of, and none of us. We can pick and choose. But what do you guys think of Nigeria? Since we're doing the whole Christian thing, you think Trump's right? Put pressure on them?
Yeah, he should.
I think it's
Why?
too late. He should have done it a lot sooner, but
Probably now it's coming his radar.
yeah, exactly. I think he didn't know about it. Just like South Africa, right? He is a little bit impulsive, right? He sees things that
Where's the international community here? Why is it always America has to jump up? Where's the UN? Isn't the UN supposed to be looking out for this shit? How does this happen?
No,
No, they're
They're
very
with the rig. They're with the rig.
yeah, they're in it.
I mean, it's steady. Trump is being consistent or trying to be consistent.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can always look at like all these things, the reasons why we go to the Middle East. It's like this stuff has been going on. The same reasons you're saying we need to interfere with the Middle East. This stuff is going on in Africa, but maybe they don't have the same resources, so it's not as advantageous to go after them.
No, Nigeria has plenty of resources. Nigeria has plenty of resources.
And a heavy Chinese presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that might be other thing.
Yeah.
I guess yeah, China's been taking over Africa and South America for decades now.
So there's ulterior motives than his Christian,
Of course.
his Christian conscience is not driving American policy.
Thanks for keeping me in check.
This
with
is
that.
like why did we decide on Venezuela all of a sudden? Like, oh, also they have a lot of oil. Come figure.
I mean, what's going on there is not something though that's trivial though. It is a lot. I posted to you guys, right? 50,000 Christians.
Oh yeah,
this isn't something that's just okay. A couple. The South African one, right? That was probably on a scale of 1 to 10 a 3. This is more like an 8 or 9. The amount of killing that's going on with these Christians. It's as many as going on in Gaza. I would argue.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I really think Islam needs like a reformation of some sort. Why is there no branch of Islam speaking out against what happens in these places? Like there needs to, I think if we really want to get to like religious freedom in this country and be okay with having a Muslim mayor, we need to be able to point to some branch of Islam that has moderated and modernized to some extent. And I just don't see that happening.
Shows how powerful they are. Even Mamdani would not say that Hamas should disarm. He kind of beat around the bush. He wouldn't even do that. Again, a big Jewish thing. I mean, even politicians normally will know are masses of, saying something without saying something, but looking like they care. He didn't even really budge on that.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable, he pretty much came up on.
Yeah, Mamdani is definitely a politician. I mean, he's definitely not. I can tell he's probably not a practicing Muslim either. I think as far as experience goes, he hasn't had a job or any entrepreneurial experience.
Yeah,
but also he had a couple of years either. Yeah, that's what I was saying with you. He just got married this year, probably just to run. Yeah, of course, right.
That's right. He's a puppet.
Yeah, I mean, Muslims are one of their big things is have a big family.
Yeah, and I'm sure he goes out and has a couple cocktails. He looks like the kind. And they don't supposed to drink or nothing. So yeah, he is just he checks certain boxes.
Yep.
Well, he could be a Muslim and drink if he's a 5%er. Maybe he's down 5% nation of gods and earths.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I must have been a 5%er for my first 30 years.
You remember Brother Rudolph? We used to live next to a 5%er, Artie. You remember Brother Rudolph?
Yeah, of course I do. That's how I learned about masonry with you two. And I remember I mentioned that.
That's it. Yeah. Brother Rudolph.
The guy was like, he worked out like every day, right? He was like monster.
Yeah. He was jacked.
Yeah. Very, very, very profound in what he spoke.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to go on? Greg Hewitt posted a couple things. He's mentioned something about the war boats. You want to touch on that? These, bombing the boats. Yeah. Greg Hewitt was. I think that he's pissed. He that's on his gripe list. So you want to?
It's on my gripe list, TJ.
Yeah, I think they're just on their cruise. They're just trying to look. They're looking for freedom out there.
Look, I'm not vouching for the character of the people on the boat. I'm just saying that maybe it's a little excessive to use, $50,000, $200,000 bombs if I can just eliminate them.
The thing was with this, like when you talk about it, I agree. It doesn't sound like a good political point, but they keep showing them on TV, so they're proud of it. So it makes me wonder, like, why would you do that, right? If you're gonna be doing it, you would probably want to keep it hush hush. So I don't know why it's on TV and stuff. Again, me being a Trump loyalist, I'm for it because they're showing it all the time. Now, if you were just hearing little bits in,
The reason people put things on TV is for propaganda.
you think it's called programming.
Not when the government does it. It's called when the government releases those things. Yeah.
Of course.
The
Well,
government is releasing the images.
Yeah, and then
As
CNN and all the liberal channels run with it.
Yes,
So you
that's correct.
So what do you think, Mrs. Joseph? Do you think as a Christian it's right to do that? Should I be happy when I see those boats blow up?
It's tough to say. It depends on what.
I agree.
Yeah.
What about the regime changes? I didn't know that that's going on in Venezuela. I know they've been hinting about it, which means it's probably going to happen. Is that good? Now, again, I know we're usually
The White House admitted to CIA that the CIA was already active there, so it's happening.
I think this was probably discussed with Cheeto. I think they've already got his, shall we say, approval. And if that's the case, then yeah, I'm for it. Again, though, that's a flip of a coin, right? Because half the time you do a regime change, it's never going to go well. But that lady who won the Peace Prize or something,
Yes.
who dedicated that Trump, by the way, PJ. Yeah, she won the.
It would be miraculous if we had a 50% success rate.
Yeah, all right, flip of a coin, probably not. But again, it's not like they're winning situations. It's not taking over, right, the steel curtain. Not like when Barry Switzer took over the Cowboys. And not these are failing.
How about
systems?
I mean, what is the strategic importance for us to get involved at all?
Oil.
Maybe, yeah, oil and influence. And again, Trump, I personally, knowing Trump, he don't like that they dump their, insane people in our country. And as he always goes on and on about, the criminals, mental institutions and stuff. He goes on and on about Venezuela. He has a bone to pick with them. But again, he doesn't like them. He always goes on about the mental institutions.
I appreciate your candor here, Artie, that Trump's probably just personally pissed off. Like one time they canceled a flight Melania was going to be on. So we're fucking sending this 82nd Ranger so through there.
But I don't think he's a big fan of them.
No, I don't think so.
So what about this Argentinian beef thing? I didn't know anything about that. TJ, you know anything about that? Being a Millie guy,
No, what happened? We're buying beef from China.
Trump committed to buying a bunch of Argentinian beef, saying that it would help lower beef prices in the U.S. and American cattle and beef farmers are fucking up in arms. Like, why are you doing this?
I mean, personally, being, the Maha guy, a lot of the beef in the United States is with this glyphosate and stuff. So if it's healthier beef, and that's the transition, cloaked in this whole lowering prices, and then we got to try to get on to more healthier meat. Again, I'm reaching, but that would be my first thing about it. Yeah. Let's hope we get healthier beef in this country, and if the prices come down and stuff, but
there's plenty of healthy beef in this country. First of all, it's very easy to get healthy,
but it's expensive. I buy it. I buy it. It's expensive though.
Yeah.
So get good beef in the country, and it gets cheaper, like you said. But I don't know if it's for healthy beef. That would be my qualifying point.
Well, that's one of the issues, right? Is beef coming from other countries don't have the same regulations that beef from the U.S. has. Is one thing. Here's an idea. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. But again, if our president loves to throw money at places to try to get a return, instead of just throwing a bunch of money at Argentina and buying their beef, you throw a bunch of money at U.S. beef farms and beef cattle farmers to either ramp up production or do something to get the fucking prices down. I'm sure how many beef farms have gone out of business over the past 10 years because of horrible farming policies. So there's got to be like we've got to handle our beef production. It should be one of the staples of our country is to be able to feed ourselves. So anything that encourages us not to feed ourselves is not America first. Back to that.
No question.
America
But
first.
you know as well as I do, there's been this like element with this whole beef farts, cow farts thing with the Green New Deal. So I don't know how much they've been trying to, shall we say, limit the amount of beef in this country. Now with Bill Gates, bending the knee, maybe we do exactly what you want. But there seems to, again, I don't know a lot about the beef, but I know that there was some Green New scam stuff with that beef stuff. You know about that?
Yeah, push for veganism, is that kind of what you're looking at?
No, they said, and they said cows are bad for the environment. You didn't know that? I'm not literally not kidding. They
Yeah,
said-
CO2 emissions.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, maybe now that that's gone and stuff, then we can get prices down, and then we can go all in on beef.
Well, here's the thing, like why we don't always have to throw money at it. That there's probably three main reasons why beef prices are going up. And that's probably regulation, land costs, and transportation. That's probably your biggest issues. Like we can do things that are more creative, like farmers getting more tax breaks for zoned agriculture land. Maybe that gets a tax break on it, something like that.
You good to know?
Transportation
Apparently
costs,
beef processing
fuel.
there's a shortage of beef processing facilities, probably driven out of business by fucking regulation, to the point where US farmers were having to ship beef overseas to get processed and then back to the American public to go to market. It was crazy. It's been crazy.
Yeah. Or fuel taxes. A lot of the gas prices is actually tax. If transportation for food, maybe they don't have to get that tax, or maybe some kind of reimbursement for paying the tax on that type of fuel.
Hey, if we get rid of the filibuster, we will. So I tell you, focus on that with your homework. Look into it. I'll send you millions of links. I know you probably
Don't.
cringe when I send you links.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Hopefully Trump will treat New York like Ford treated New York when they asked for a subsidy, and just tell them to drop dead.
Hey, I mean, that's what he wants to do. We'll see. Do you guys, what's your belief about the shutdown? Do you think it's going to continue? How much longer right now we're in historic waters right here, and longer than ever. Is it going to continue? Do you want it to continue? I mean, when's the pain? When, they say max pain, when is that going to be too much?
Problem is, I don't think most people are feeling any pain, and maybe that's going to be a good case for libertarianism.
Right.
Maybe.
Unless you're a government employee not getting paid.
Oh, wait. So since it's TJ's birthday, Massey, you want to talk about some Massey stuff since you brought up libertarianism?
Game on. Let's see, because you told us earlier in the year that anyone that Trump puts up is going to win. And I'm going to show how much more powerful Trump is than Massey.
I didn't say that exactly, but yeah, let's see. This is a referendum on Massey. Let's see who's more powerful, right? So you welcome it?
Yeah. Massey will fucking eat Trump's breakfast.
The guy's name is Ed Galrain. I don't want to, go against, and promote the guy yet. Navy SEAL, though. He's going to be the Massey opponent. Ed Galrain. I think that's
just what we need. Another guy that's been softened by the years of being in the system to be a lapdog for whoever they want to put in there. That's exactly what America needs.
But how long would it take for the primary? Like, I don't know the process. So when do we get
primary is going to be in the spring, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So we'll find out pretty soon. Yeah, spring is that far.
Yeah, and then look, I wish he would just play ball, Massey. Right? I mean, I think there's some good qualities to the guy. I've done some more research. He went to MIT and stuff. He's a smart guy and stuff. But like I said, it's A or B. There's no C choice in this world right now in politics. That's why we need to end the filibuster. And that's why we need people that Trump can trust for these next couple of years to get us through these rocky times. And then, yeah, maybe the guy turns into a leader of the Republican Party. Massey.
Of course, they're saying he's going to primary JD in 2028.
What do you mean primary him? What do you mean?
He's going to run
to
for
vice
president.
Who is? Oh, Massey? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
they're great. Yeah. Look, I'll listen to him. I mean, that's a again that it's a Hail Mary. He's not going to beat Vance. He's not going to have a chance. But
So,
I mean, I love to see him. If he could, again, MIT guys are usually science guys. They're not good. A lot of smart people are not, shall we say, charismatic and entertaining and stuff. JD Vance is the total package. So if he can debate with JD Vance, good luck.
yeah, he can turn on men, women, and couches. If only couches could vote, then you'd be 70% of the vote.
Well, I wish him luck. Okay, if he could beat Gal, so what are you saying, TJ? He's going to lose the Gal reign and then he's going to go for VP. I mean,
No, he's gonna win, and then he's gonna take
parachute,
and then he's gonna take JD Vance out. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, I mean, people with that thought process are not very attractive to the median voter, but he's gonna give JD Vance a hell of a time.
So let me ask you a question: if you had to pick one of the two, Steelers Super Bowl or Massey presidency, what would you pick?
A Massey presidency.
4 Steelers Super Bowls or Massey presidency?
Nazi presidency.
You love this guy, bro. You always sitting there saying all about being Trump, these Trump. I was a gay from Trump.
Of them.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I said. That's what I told my fiance about Trump versus 4 Eagles Super Bowls. I picked Trump. So my love for Trump.
Care about America more than your Eagles. That's actually very endearing of you.
No, but here's how I look at it as well. I also thought Trump is like an Eagles game every day, right? The amount of action he brings to the world. It's like literally an Eagle game every day for 4 years instead of just 16 games a year. You get like a game every day with the way these people react to him and stuff. So that's how I really focused on it.
He definitely pushes people's tushes in.
Well, again, I want to wish you happy birthday. I don't know how much time you got more, but I anything else I can really hop up,
Marty. I gotta wrap up in a minute.
Yeah, good. So, Pastor Benny, you want to take us out?
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, that we can come, talk, and enjoy the freedom of this nation. And Lord, thank you for great minds that come here, oh God. And Lord, I get to learn from them. Thank you so much for everybody, oh God. Lord, bless our families, bless all our hearers, bless them with everything that they need. Lord, keep our country safe. In Jesus' name I pray. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. We are the Four Discoursmen. TJ, happy birthday. Ben, Pastor Benny, Greg Hewen, Artie. The one-man party. Bye.
Bye now.